One day, while I was looking for interesting topics or rail lines to cover, I came across a document that described one heritage railroad's struggle to reopen a rail link to its historically significant past. I discovered a hidden gem of a day trip in Folsom, California. Folsom is a small town east of Sacramento and west of Placerville, about 150 miles from the Bay Area. It has a quaint historic district, as do many of the towns in the area due to the historical importance most played during the California Gold Rush. But this day trip is not about the historic part of Folsom. It's about the Placerville and Sacramento Valley Railroad. In the mid-1850s, the Sacramento Valley Railroad was started in Sacramento and struck out eastward. The railroad reached Placerville in the late 1880s, and shortly thereafter it was taken over by a Southern Pacific subsidiary operating primarily to serve lumber and fruit shipping needs for the next 99 years until the late 1980s, when Southern Pacific decided it was no longer profitable enough to maintain. In 1991, a joint powers board was formed to acquire the right-of-way under the Rails to Trails Act. They successfully acquired the line in 1995. Fast forward to 2008, when rail excursion service was proposed and the current Placerville and Sacramento Valley Railroad was started. This new incarnation of the Placerville and Sacramento Valley Railroad is a nonprofit 501c3 volunteer organization whose members have rehabilitated much of the right-of-way and currently operates excursions that originate in Folsom. If you don't know where to look, you might miss the P&SVRR's boarding area. It's across from the Hampton Inn near the East Bidwell Street exit off Highway 50. There are some signs posted in the immediate area, so keep an eye out. There are two flavors of excursions run on most operating days: the train ride and motor car rides. The train ride is the shorter of the two options, taking a little under an hour. The train travels almost 2 miles south of the boarding area and then returns. It's powered by a small switch engine that pulls the train, several times a day, out to a place called White Rock. During this excursion, riders can see some of the pastoral land south of Folsom and hear about relevant history from a volunteer docent. When I went, a significant portion of this area was being developed for future residential neighborhoods. The second and longer option is the motor car ride. A motor car is a rail vehicle that is not as big and heavy as a regular train, but can still carry several passengers. Think of it as a passenger van on rails. Because these vehicles are lighter than a regular train, they can carry passengers further up the line. And boy, is it worth it if you have the time. Places you'll see from the motor car look as though they have not changed in 100 years. Old farmsteads, open spaces, creeks, wooded areas, and more. Aboard the motor car, you're likely to be treated to historical tidbits of interest by the volunteer operator, as well as the sights and sounds of the countryside that is otherwise inaccessible to the public. The motor car ride takes about 2 hours to complete. The Placerville and Sacramento Valley Railroad organization runs a lot of special weekend excursions for holidays and other special events, and they also have an operating season, so it's best to check in on their website before going. You can find all the information you might need at psvrr.org. The trip from the Bay Area to Folsom takes about 2 hours, depending on exactly where you start, and you could easily spend 2 hours riding the motor car or riding the train and then grabbing a bite to eat at one of the many local eating establishments. There are no public restrooms on site, but the hotel across the street is welcoming should you need to use the facilities. This day trip has more possibilities than I could describe in one of these programs, so I will simply suggest that you get out to Folsom and discover some of them on your own. I hope you've enjoyed this look at the Placerville and Sacramento Valley Railroad as a destination for a day trip. If you find my content interesting, or if you know anyone else who might enjoy this content, please share it. Thanks for watching Bay Area Day Trips, and make it a great day.